Side with us. Green, blue, and gray, that's what we rock. Hawk Tawk, ride with us. Side with us. Glad to hear y'all dropped in. Hawk Tawk, slide with us. Walt and Dave get locked in, and let's go.
Hey, what's going on? It's Dave. It's Walt.
Hey.
And this week, it's producer Pete hanging out with us. All right, what's happening, man? This is Hawk Tawk. And man, we got some stuff to talk about. What a game, what a season. Walt, what'd you think about Bruno's, bro?
Bruno's was jam packed. I mean, because it's funny because like we look at the week before, and we had some of the overflow with like from the Bills Denver game that took place, and okay, it was packed out then. You know, we're waiting to get there, and obviously they kind of leave out, and you know the Hawkers were in there representing, and it was a solid crowd. It was packed. It was a good time. And then, you know, halfway through the game Sunday, the Patriots Broncos game, it was all Seahawks in there. Yeah. You know, packed out to the brim. I mean, yeah, it was a great watch party. Great watch party.
You know what? You know, we've been there now. We transitioned from Wild Goose. I think we were 7-3. Or maybe 6-3. I think we're tied for. I don't know, wherever it was, but we are undefeated since moving to Bruno's, and I will tell you, it has been amazing. And I don't know, Walt. Now, and Pete, you were there too. You were there for a good bit, for a good minute. I would love to see the pictures that you went up and got, of people, like you got up to get a whole view of the crowd. To get an idea of the scale of that thing. But, well, I walked around, of course, I greet people as I come in. We had so many people there that were from Seattle that were down for the game, and they said, we researched, and they said, and everything we saw said Bruno's is the best spot to watch a game at. And so we had, I met probably 20 people that have never been to Bruno's on Sunday, and a good chunk of them
came for the event, huh?
We're from Seattle. Yeah, they were just visiting in town. We got to find a spot, and they came to Bruno. So that makes it a lot of fun when you want to do something. Because I think the first week we were there, we had like 40 people, and the owner goes, "Well, I thought we'd have more people." I'm like, "Bro, we're just getting started," and then now he's going, "This is too many people."
Yeah, we can't keep up with everything that's going on. It's mayhem in here. Like, you want the business or not?
Yeah, it was nuts. It was packed outside. It was packed in our main room, and it was packed in the other overflow room. I mean, I've been to Bruno's just like 3 times for the games and stuff, but it's grown every single time. And this one was nuts. I mean, I thought my hearing like hurt the last time I went. I was like, I'm getting old, man. My ears.
Well, it was awesome. That's what I was gonna say. They don't sit on their hands there. We got the push-up crew doing push-ups. And last week, I think we got to 41, and they were all proud of themselves because they're all older guys. And they're like, I didn't know I could do 41 push-ups.
Yeah. On top of all the other push-ups that they did prior to that, right?
Yeah, leading up, right? Yeah. So they're pretty proud of themselves, and it's fun too that Bruno's is a family friendly place. So of course, Walt, you got to bring all your family and the kids, and we have a lot of kids there. And doggone it, there was one kid there that he cut out a cardboard as a Super Bowl trophy. Did you see that by any chance, Walt?
No, I didn't.
No.
We put that on the reel on social.
Yeah, but I wanted to get a picture with him, with Walter, with it, and it was, good intentions. But man, once we get rolling with that many people, it's hard to stay on top of everything. But let's, so that was the atmosphere. That's the fun we had, and I'm not sure if you're gonna be in town. I don't know what you're doing for the Super Bowl. If you're just gonna low key, I kind of like to do low key for Super Bowl, to be honest. We're going to be up, of course, we're going to be up in the Bay Area. and I'm deciding if I want to do a watch party up there. I've never done that, with the former players. I heard it's pretty cool. But then part of me wants to come back down and just maybe go do Bruno's for the Super Bowl. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hey, so Saturday night though. Saturday night is a big. Okay, you're not going to appreciate this because you're too young. But both of you guys are. So Saturday night is a big NFL party with DJ Jazzy Jeff and Doug E. Fresh. So
no way.
Yeah. 6 minutes. So we, Anne Marie are excited because that was my year of hanging out at the Roxbury and listen to all those old jams. Anyhow, so we'll see how early we can get up and maybe make it back down, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Plays out,
But so. I don't know how, Walt, I know you're inundated with people. I know you got trapped in a corner and, thank you for your patience of all the fans that were there to hang out with you. Did you get a chance to watch much of the game?
Oh yeah, I got to watch a good amount of the game. I mean, obviously, you're in that host mode, so you're popping in around, talking to people, and you catch the game right there. It was again, like I said, it was a good outing though.
But
I mean,
so
the Hawks look impressive, but it was a close one though.
Yeah,
it was a close one.
Yeah, I don't know why we have their offensive line either did an extremely really good job or we just didn't have the right scheme to get pressure on Stafford because he just sat back there.
We only got one sack. Yeah, we only got one sack.
Yeah,
and that was by DeMarcus. Yeah.
And thank goodness that they decided they didn't want to run Kyrie because he was when they gave him the ball, he was having success.
It's funny because they did that same thing, in the game down in LA, to where they run the ball pretty efficiently, and then they just got away from run the ball. It's kind of odd sometimes when the stuff is working. I don't know if they thought like, let's get the ball to our playmaker with Puka and put the ball in Stafford's hand and trying to make some things happen there. I mean, when you have a pass happy offensive coordinator like that, I mean, that run game is kind of a slow burn, and then you take your play action hits and stuff like that. So after a while, I think he just gets antsy and it's like, let's just throw it, let's chuck it and make some things happen there. But
so now, hey, Pete, now did you get a chance to watch the game? Because I know you were doing a great job of taking photos and filming. Did you get a chance to watch the game?
Oh yeah, every second I got, it was great. It was fun seeing. I think for this one, watching the game, watching some of the strategy that they came out with on both sides, and then I think exactly what you guys are saying. Like there was definitely some parts I'm like, why aren't they sticking with that? Like they were starting to have success, and then they moved away from it. And but I definitely loved the tone that the Hawks came out with on that drive, man.
Yeah.
To really kind of set a precedent for the game. Like, hey, this is our house. We're gonna smash it and like just go, man. It was great.
I will tell you, watching K9 is not a love-hate thing. It's a love-stress thing because that guy contorts his body and spins and twists and gets, for 2 more yards. But that's why he gets injured, I think. Because, man, I will tell you, I'm like, okay, he's down. Nope. And there's 3 or 4 more yards. But what he's doing to get those, I'm like, bro, without you, we're done. So, but man, I don't know that I've seen a running style like him before. Can you think of somebody, Walt, that you've seen that runs like that? Like after they hit to make 3, 4, 5 more yards and not the normal, just keeping the legs churning. It's like, I don't know, man. He puts himself into really precarious situations.
Yeah. Very, 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 very limber.
Stay limber one more game.
I know, right? I mean, it was. I think that the big question mark I think a lot of people had, especially on offense, was how was the offense going to respond with Charbonnet going down, especially like in the red zone. And I think they handled it well. I think it was like try to get K9 the ball in different situations, get him more involved in the pass.
Yeah.
I think he ran the ball very effectively, and we found a way to be able to score. Once we got down in there, and I think K9 knew that he had to do a little extra, knowing that he didn't have his running mate from the whole season, and how long he did hit his part when his number was called. Give below here. He had him involved in a pass game as well, but. I think the offense responded very well, and I think it was a great game that was called.
So, and what about Sam Darnold? I think he ended up with like 350 yards and 3 touchdowns and 0 turnovers. I mean, that, you know what? I tell you, there's a lot of quarterbacks in the league that in an NFC division championship would take those stats all day long. I mean, that was a really impressive performance by him. What'd you think, Pete?
Yeah, I thought he took care of the ball and led the team well. I don't want to say managed the game well, but I honestly think really led the team well. I mean, because you got to set the tone in the huddle. You got to do a lot of different things, and it was really nice to watch. I kind of root for those guys those underdog guys where everybody's giving their 2 cents, saying how you're not worth it, you're not good enough, and to come out on top like that, I mean, it's good. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, be quite a lot of people saying about last year with Minnesota and his happy feet, but we keep saying it over and over on this show and any other time I get a chance to say it. And that if you're a quarterback and your offensive line is like a sieve, and you're running for your life, I don't care who you are, you're gonna get happy feet. I don't. It could be Brady, it could be Stafford, it could be Goff. They all get happy feet when there's defensive linemen all around you, and that's what happened to him in Minnesota. Go ahead.
Sam gets a little bit more, and so I think when he gets his happy feet is when the run isn't cooperating. Right. I think he's a player that benefits from a successful running game. I think that's that we've seen it with Minnesota. Which there's nothing wrong with that, right? Again, it just opens the playbook up. It gets the defense kind of being aggressive at the line. You get the 1-on-1 matchups from the back end, and you have great receivers. I mean, he's got Njigba, who's going to be probably an all-pro receiver this season. Last year, he had Justin Jeffries, all-pro receiver, and you got those guys on 1-on-ones, matchups off the play action. I mean, that's a match made in heaven when the run game is clicking, stuff like that. So I mean, I think that's why the offense has been so successful, is when that running game is going, it alleviates the pressure from Sam having to just sit in the pocket and be that that Tom Brady where I'm just gonna sit back there and just nickel and dime and make those throws. I think he benefits from getting outside of the pocket, using his legs. So he has some good speed, but being able to get out the pocket. You're not having to see over the offensive line. The zones are moving, or it's man coverage. So I think he really is. I think his strength is in that, and I think there's nothing wrong with that from an aspect. But I think that's when he played at his best, is when those facets are going. Because when we've been in those games, again, that Ram game is the one that kind of sticks out the most to me. Is when he was sitting back there in the pocket. Is when he threw 4 interceptions, and he's throwing into spots and he's throwing it right to guys and stuff like that. And and our run game wasn't on point at that point either. We weren't running the ball effectively during that game. So I can see that being a point of emphasis if I'm the Patriots. If I'm looking at, and especially Vrabel, he's a defensive-minded head coach. They're going to try to stop the run and put him in those situations where he has to sit back and throw the ball. But they also have to score. Absolutely. If we're not coming from behind and our defense is holding them, I think our defense is going to put hands on that offense over there. It's going to be an interesting game.
I agree 100%. I think really with us is if you're a defensive coordinator, is you got to take K9 away, because without K9, then it's all on Sam. Yeah. And I love how he's done, but we've also seen him struggle when he takes it onto his shoulders and he feels like he has to do. Yeah. He forces it a little bit. When he feels it's on him. I think he feels that pressure still. Even as well as he did this week. But gosh darn it, man, how much fun was that to watch JSN against Puka? I mean, it was like a heavyweight fight. It was like just, oh, really? You can catch that and make that play? Well, check out this catch. Yeah. I mean, it was like back and forth, and I will tell you, that Puka impresses me.
Oh yeah.
he makes catches he shouldn't make, and then afterwards he gets to 10 more yards. It's that was it's fun but stressful.
He's a solid receiver. Yeah, I mean he's they got him at 6'2", 210, 215. I mean he's every bit of that. And he plays with that size. He plays with that control. He does give defensive backs problems and fits there. And obviously he's been playing. Again, he's been playing at all pro level. 1,700 yards on the season, 10 touchdowns. He's playing as one of the best receivers in the league. Outside of JSN, right? And again, a smaller, shifter receiver. But again, they just, both special guys and young players too at that.
Yeah, they're both young. They're going to be doing. I will tell you this: the takeaway for me for this season, aside from the fact that preseason I predicted Seattle to take to the division and also to show up in the Super Bowl. I said that no one's going to take us serious, and I think we're that good that we can sneak up on people. Is that the NFC West is going to have the 3 best teams for, I would say, at least 2 more years. The Niners are going to get healthy, and they're going to be stupid good. And as long as they can keep Stafford from retiring, they're going to be stupid good. And I think we're just so young. We're going to be. I really just. I think the next 3 Super Bowls, at least 2 to 3 Super Bowls, the NFC West will be represented. I just don't see anybody really stepping up to beat all 3 of us.
Yeah. The only team that they have to rebuild their defense is going to be that Chicago team. I think the Chicago team gets defense. They can be a contender.
Yeah. I just think though, bro, if we look at their season, they killed like 12 of their 9 lives to get to where they were.
They won a lot of games in that fourth quarter for sure.
Yeah, that last play against the Rams, he didn't even look. He just hucked it to the corner, and the tight end was there. Goes, hey, there's a ball. All right. Let's be honest. I get it. They did do some things, but they didn't do it convincingly. The wins. Watch the Niners, and they just shredded the Colts. They just shredded. They when they were impressive, they were good. We just had their number when we came up against them. And I'll tell you what, we didn't. We squeaked by the Rams, and the Rams, just beat some people. So, I think that's going to be interesting. I will tell you probably the least interesting conversation that at least I've had and that we're going to have right now is who's going to win the Super Bowl? I mean, come on. Do the Patriots have a chance?
It's good for them. It's going to be defense. They've been under the radar the whole season. Everyone had the Bills being that team to come out of the AFC. You had Denver that was kind of flirting, but there was no one that was really, the whole season, no one has been really convincing on either side of the aisle as far as who's going to be the clear-cut favorites to go to the Super Bowl. And I think it goes back to the Seahawks, right? They only had it at 8 wins on the year, barely, bottom tier of the division and, probably not even making the playoffs for that matter. And, everyone, we just kind of kept winning games, put our head down. And obviously we're watching games every week. So we're seeing the dynamic of the teams and the games we're playing and how we're kind of coming out and, defense got better as the season has gone on, where the offense kind of tapered a little bit, but they kind of found their stride within these last few games. Same thing with the Patriots. I think the Patriots did the same thing. They kind of just going through, head down, winning those games, just kind of getting overlooked, out there in the Northeast, just like we were getting in the Pacific Northwest. And, defense, I think, has been a very crucial part of why we're in the position. And offense, came on and helped us along with that situation. But our defense has been playing very stout. And, they don't. It's going to be interesting dynamic. Obviously, it's a rematch, right? Of the infamous
of a different era.
Totally different era. But just from the namesake, right?
Yes.
It's trying to wipe that bad taste in the mouth last time of playing on the West Coast against the Patriots. So
You know what would be, it would be just funny. I don't see it happening. I really see this being a blowout.
It goes down to the same situation.
Could you imagine? What are the odds on that? And so I just want to tell everybody that's watching or that will watch this show eventually is that you're welcome, because I don't bet sports, because every time I bet I lose. And I had every gut instinct, because I do another show with Sideline Sports and the guys. I picked Seattle to win the division. And at that time, the Cardinals were predicted to win the division preseason. Niners second, Rams third, 11% chance of making the Super Bowl. And we were at 9% or 6% chance to make the Super Bowl. Wow. I predicted I didn't just do it because I wear the doggone jersey. I did it because I firmly believed it. Yeah. But then the outside chances had been, if we can do that, because nobody's taking us seriously, we really have a chance to get to the Super Bowl. I really thought that was gonna happen. What were your thoughts, Pete, like preseason of how this was gonna go? I know. Eagles aside, and I
think everyone had the Eagles as like that favorite going into the season.
Yep, so Pete, because he's got the jersey and he's got the hats.
No, I think I thought you guys, the way you ended last season, and honestly with McDonald and the culture that he's setting there and the shifts that he made, like I knew you guys were going to be hot. Honestly, I think it was just figuring out your offensive dynamics. With Kubiak, I think getting Kubiak in was a great shift. Great. I even think about just watching the game with the Rams, like you guys we got away for a little bit from the running game, different things with K9. But then on those passing plays and stuff, he was always providing an outlet, like, or a check down for Darnold, because I think who's the one
Bobo,
the one guard you guys have, whatever, but he was getting eaten alive, dude, by the Rams defensive line. And it was like, so I'm a little,
which one, not the rookie, what's his name? He struggles. The right guard.
The right guard starts with a B.
Braddock or Bradford or something. Yeah. He has struggled he's the weak link of the up front there. It'd be great. Hopefully that'd be something that they address in the off season, because everybody else was solid.
I think, honestly, for the Super Bowl, I think that Patriots interior D line with Milton Williams, he was a hoss for the Eagles last year in the Super Bowl against the Mahomes. Like, I do think he's going to give the Hawks some trouble, because it's right there on that side between your center and the guard, where there's going to be some definite pressure. But I think if you guys can maintain a balance and Kubiak calls the right plays to Darnold's strength and all those different things, I think the Super Bowl will be great, because your defense, you guys rise to the occasion every single time. And honestly, we didn't even talk about it, but freaking special teams.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, special teams has been the Rams' Achilles heel. And I told Matt there was the first punt, homeboy like almost muffed it the first time. And I was so upset at the Seahawks guy who was right there. And then he ran beside him. I'm like, he fair catched it. Stand in front of the dude and get ready to knock him out, or just intimidate him. And he could have gotten it a second time, but that's me.
Well, I'll tell you what, we can flash back to once again another era, but not too long ago, when the Patriots beat the Rams. And I will tell you what, that Patriots defensive line was just shredding the offensive line from the Rams. And there's so much pressure on Goff. That was Goff's big season with the Rams. Yeah. And getting back to Happy Feet, holy smokes, bro, he was getting just eaten up. And it was all coming not from the end rushers. It was coming right up the gut. And they brought it. So that's a really good point, Pete, because we do have a weakness there up front. And hopefully we can scheme around it, play action off to the left where our strength is with Cross and Zane or whatever the kid's name is. Whatever it takes, but to get it to make sure that we're not, putting ourselves in harm's way with him, because really that's what we got,
Yeah.
Well, this is a topic of discussion, and I got into it a little bit with the guys on the previous show. Tariq Woolen.
Oh, jeez.
And look, we've all been in a game. Now you're a very mild mannered guy, I mean, I've just met you off the field. I've never seen you on the field. I did not have a problem voicing my opinion. I was 6'7", 365 pounds, and I had long hair and braids. So I was a little bit out there. I was a little touched. But I'll tell you what I would have never done. And that's jeopardized my team by doing. I mean, it was like, there's one thing about fluffing, okay, I'll get fluffy. But to take it where you're all the way down the sideline and then you're chipping right in the quarterback's face, 20, 30 yards downfield. At some point, you got to know, hey, maybe I'm pushing this a little bit. And then you're fluffing about a play. And then the next play, you get freaking just toasted for a touchdown.
Yeah.
No, and then you weren't so fluffy,
Yeah.
What I liked was Uri, the rookie, jumping his face, going, "Bro, we're working our butt out here. We've got a chance to win a game, and you jeopardized this win by giving them, I mean, you can't give Stafford shots like that."
Yeah.
Give me. So that's my take. Obviously, my take. What's your take? Starting with what he did. The penalty's the penalty, but then, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be, you got to be aware of your surroundings, and I don't know, if it's one of the biggest games that he's ever played in, right? I mean, coming to date within this capacity, he went to a smaller school, so I mean, they're not playing for the big conference or the big bowl games or national championships within that aspect. And again, I don't know how much that plays into just being level-headed in that capacity of what's going on, what's at stake in that situation. And I know we're up and winning, and it could feel like they're dominating. You still play 4 quarters though. This was in the third quarter as this is going on, and you give them life on a situation to where again, some people talk smack, right? There's some people that talk smack, but there's also some people that talk smack but can't refocus, right? Yes. And that was a situation to where, again, if you're going to go talk smack, they need to go refocus for the next play, especially when you're going against one of the best receivers in the league right now.
Yes.
And going against arguably probably the MVP of the league with Matt Stafford throwing the ball, and who's still determined on trying to win a game because the game's not over for the third quarter though, right? And then now you go into a space where there's a penalty. Obviously, you get the yards, but then you come back and he throws the touchdown. Now what if they score? Because no one scored in the fourth quarter on either side of the ball. So now what if they go in and get that touchdown and we can't get a drop to go win that game? Then now we're looking at this play carries more weight and significant of the lapse of focus during this time. Trying to go to win a Super Bowl, right? And you just can't have that. As what's going on again, everyone about Uri, he's such a great pivotal piece. I haven't met him in person or anything, but you just see the poise, you see the integrity, you see just that leadership that he has from a
leadership.
Rookie. That leadership aspect from a rookie, which again, you want all your players to be leaders, right? It's not, again, I think there's different type of leaders. There's accountability that goes across the board through everybody. And I just you just see the poise in the situation of understanding that, hey man, he can't be doing that. And you're supposed to be a 4-year veteran, 5-year guy, going into the situation, and here's an opportunity that could potentially cost us because the game is still going on, right? We haven't even gotten to the fourth quarter yet, and so but that's just a testament to that, to the overall defense and the players that are on there, and obviously he's been a crucial part of the success of this defense. And you remove him, that dynamic changes drastically, because that's either another linebacker that's coming in there, he is most likely another linebacker that's coming into that kind of role, right? Because he is that DB that's the extra safety on the field. He's also down in the box because he does have the quickness and lateral speed to be able to come fill the holes, kind of like that Cam Chancellor type. And so he's been a great addition to this defense, and I think that's what really kind of put them over the top as we're getting to this point of talking about like how great is his defense. This is a championship defense, and it is a championship defense because of the people are in the right spots, right?
Right. Well, I'll tell you, earlier in the season, Tyreek made a bonehead play, did something dumb, but he came right back and made a huge deflection in the end zone to take away a touchdown in a crucial time, right? So now he did a bonehead play and then gets toasted. I mean, he wasn't even in proximity to the receiver. But here's what I don't want to glaze over. And Pete, I know you've watched a bunch of football, but until you've been on the field, that dynamic of rookie and veteran, for a rookie to have, you said the word leadership, to step up and say, homie, no, we're not down with that. You can't do that. We're all, we're a unit here, and you can't be above the unit. And you put yourself above the unit to fluff up or whatever. Yeah. And, I'll share a quick story. Like when I was a rookie and working in with the first unit. And it was just practice. But still, I'm working, with Largent, Craig, and all those guys working the first unit. I made a call. The 7-year vet called me off. And I said, no. I said, whatever it was a blocking scheme call. Dave Craig is barking out the cadence, and he stands up. He goes, and I can't use the words, but he said, rookie. I said, he goes, this is the call. Before he finished that, our old line coach goes, Bevo, get into your stance. The rookie's right. But I was like going, Chuck Knox is watching, everyone's watching, and I'm like, was I right? So my old line coach. But veterans don't take guff from rookies. At least that was back in the day. Yeah. So to see him have that confidence of, man, no, I'm taking leadership of this defense, at least the DB field or whatever that is, and set it straight. I thought that was. Everyone's going, oh my gosh, the Seahawks are chipping at each other. I said, no, that's a young man stepping up and saying, no, this is how we are going to do stuff. And I tell you, man, because I looked at it too. It could have gone one of two ways. Oh, they're chipping at each other, and then all of a sudden now they're not going to communicate, and there's going to be this, this chip in the armor. But no, I think they went, no, we're not going to do that. What do you think of? I mean, because I know the big thing for you, Walt, was communication with the LOB, right? You guys had that open line of discussion. Did you guys have anything like that happen where, you had guys step up and?
Oh yeah, guys would get chippy with each other on the sideline for sure about stuff. But again, it goes back to just the standard that you hold yourself to, and no one wants to see a play where you're getting a flag thrown on you for unsportsmanlike conduct, and you're the hooting and hollering, and then you go give up a touchdown. Now you're going to sideline like what are you doing, dude? For the first one, shame on you. And the second time, it's like now you're going to be locked in to go make the play and just be it's like at that point it's just a little reckless too, though. So it's like now we just had such a high standard, and there's a lot of communication. Guys sometimes we get chippy with each other. But at the end of the day, you're brothers, and it's just accountability, And if someone doesn't want to be held accountable, then it's like, hey man, you ultimately will weed yourself out. So I think, like you said, you feel like they kind of came together within that. I mean, that's kind of showing that level, that the team camaraderie, the team brotherhood that's there, to where it's like, I mean, sometimes a little brother can't check a big brother sometimes if he's out of line, out of pocket, And that's just is what it is. Just because Yoder doesn't mean you're always right. Because that was, you're totally wrong here. The first one could have been a pass. All right, man, calm down. You got the best of you, but hey, now you got to lock back in. There's no excuse for that, especially when you've been playing you play at a high level. You're a Pro Bowl player. There should be a standard to your level of play and craft. And regardless of the injuries that you've had and things of that nature, obviously that kind of that can't play a factor into that. But it's like, man, you're going against the one of the best. You got to be locked in here, So because he went for 163 and a couple touchdowns. So I mean, he had his day, and easily could have put them in position to kind of win that game because again, it was it got back, it got close. I mean, they had to fight it out for the last 15 minutes for sure.
Pete, as a fan, when you're watching players on the field, when you see a taunting play like that, when you're raising a young son, all right. And the reason I'm asking this is because I got into a bit of a heated argument on my previous show saying there's no room for that. Now, we are not out there to be anybody's role model or anything like that. However, there are young men watching that and emulating what they see. And they do. I mean, that's what young men do, right? I mean, why do we as young boys spike the football? Because we saw guys on football, spike it. Why did we? Well, maybe you didn't, Walt, but we wobbled our legs like Billy White Shoes Johnson because that was Billy White Shoes Johnson. And or why do we do the icky shuffle? Because we saw that on TV. So then when we emulate an unsportsmanlike type atmosphere or conduct, whether it be on the field or with our parents or with a teacher or with authority or anybody, is because we're seeing it. And I tell you, we emulate that. And it's not like the downturn of society or anything like that. However, there comes a point where, there's a reason for that kind of penalty. It's to, keep guys from acting a fool. But Pete, I want to just ask you as a fan, what do you think of that unsportsmanlike conduct call? And then that kind of conduct when you're watching your guys on TV.
Yeah. I mean, I think for those types of things, I think it's, hey, you either you let your pride win or your emotions get the best of you. When I see things like that happen, when it's really, you've got to keep all that stuff contained for the moment because it's like what you guys talked about. It just happens so quick, and Walt, I love what you said. It's literally, it's like, you gotta lock back in, you got to get back into the zone for the next play because it happens so fast. And I think a lot of times it's like, man, you let those one decisions, that one decision, right, could literally send you into a whole mess where now everything's starting to derail. But I do love seeing the aftermath as far as the accountability. I think those are teachable moments where the team rises above the individual, where it's not the pride in yourself and your own skill sets thinking that you're the one that can overcome and do all the things, but it's really trusting in your other brothers, your other 52 guys, right, that are on the team, because that's what wins championships, man. It's the culture, it's the mindset, it's the camaraderie, it's the one guy being willing to completely give of himself for the guy that's right next to him, and so that's kind of what I always pick from those moments. And my son and I, we have those conversations because I know, like, especially in the NFL this year, taunting's been one of those things that they've really cracked down on. And it's like guys have just got to check themselves a little bit, to make sure that they're not putting themselves and their team in those predicaments. There's other ways, like they could celebrate, they can do stuff. Don't always have to come up with the, with that attitude and some different things there. And so I think it's just an adjustment that I think players have to make, mentally, get themselves just in a different mindset and rewire themselves for those moments, You
bring up a point because there's two ways that you see teammates rally or address. And one is when teammates go up and pat them on the back, tell them, oh, bro, that's all, bro, you good. And then there's ones like, no, you ain't good. And we ain't good with it because you jeopardize us, obviously, because that's what happened. You put them in a scoring position, one pass, Stafford, touchdown, right? Not that that's going to happen every time, but I think the way it was done was spot on. We're not going to accept it. We love you as a brother. Let's finish this thing out. But you need to be better than that. Because if you validate it, it's just going to happen again from a teammate. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, no, I'm good. That's how I am. That's just me. Well, anyhow, I think we spent enough time on that. I was curious. I appreciate you guys' input because I'll tell you, I got into a heated conversation where somebody that's never played the game before is trying to tell me, oh, bro, it's all good. And I'm like, spend some time in the locker room and then you tell me, what your opinion is. So,
yeah,
but as a dad,
you're going to get heated.
I did. I told you I did.
Is going to get the best of you, right? And like, you're there, you're feeding off the crowd and the energy, and like you made a play or whatever it is, and like you're yeah, I mean, yeah, you're trying to get underneath the guy's skin,
hey,
but then like like at the point you just take it, it just happens just a little too far, right?
right.
Yeah.
But see, but what he did, it was outward, right? It was towards it. So like Sherman, like talking smack. I'm like my buddy I played guard next to, ended up playing like 8 years in the league after Montreal. He goes, DesRochers. He goes, where do you get the energy to talk so much? Because I'd talk to the cat across from me.
Yeah.
I had no problem talking smack to anybody I played against. But I wasn't going to jeopardize my team by smacking them in the face or doing, you know what I mean? It was like this is part of the machismo of, either I'm kicking your butt, you're kicking my butt, or whatever it is. And yeah, I get it. I get losing my cool a little bit. Anyhow, but all right.
Yeah, it happens.
I don't know.
Mean, the energy that comes along with playing in a stadium.
Oh my gosh.
Like that.
Yeah.
68,000 fans. I mean, because like having played in college in the Pacific Northwest, there's something about the Pacific Northwest and the fan base to where it's just a different type of electricity, a different type of feeling in there. You have that adrenaline that's coursing through your veins. You got, 60,000 people, just raw energy going. Like, I mean, yeah, it can get overwhelming sometimes. And like, yeah, that is the challenge on having to balance, that emotional state, and being able to go out there and play, understanding the lines, what lines not to cross within that. Obviously, you just cross that line, right? And it becomes a penalty. If he doesn't cross the line, then we're not talking about it. It's just saying like he's just fired up and emotional, and then then he just gave a touchdown. If that was the case, right? It'd be a totally different type of dynamic. But yeah, I mean, yeah, the NFC Championship game. I mean, some people, you might look back at this and after the Super Bowl's over, and if we win handsomely, right, and look back and like, hey, that was a Super Bowl against the Rams. That's how it was. Super Bowl 48, it was that the 49ers, the NFC Championship game, I always felt that was a Super Bowl for me. Because, again, the Super Bowl was so lopsided when we got there and played that. Like, that's not what we've known the Super Bowl to be, right? It always comes down to the last play, last series, last drive. And, that's what you're kind of expecting being in a Super Bowl, going all 4 quarters. And that wasn't the case. But that NFC Championship game, went down to wire. Literally went to the last play until I got tipped by Sherman and caught by Malcolm. So yeah, it's very unique.
And I think it's something crazy to think that I mean, that was the 3rd time, that the Hawks played the Rams.
Yeah.
And, so much about each other after playing each other 3 times, man, in one season. And there's not so much extra fluff you can pull out on the playbook and some different things there, but it's like these guys, there's a lot of animosity, man, that comes out.
Yeah. I mean, you got 2 games worth of trash talk that's building up on the biggest stage. It's just deposits. It's just trash talk in the bank. We don't even know as on the outside looking in of just this guy. I can't wait till we play them again. Ooh, like
how it ended the last time, first place.
Yeah,
the last time they played was for first place, and the Hawks pulled it out on the conversion. Like, goodness, man, I can't imagine. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, there were a couple of some calls made by the Rams, that I don't think were good calls. I think you go for 2. Hey, look, if you're down 4, you go for 2, right? Because or what was it? Down by
the score, yeah.
Yeah, because you're down. Because you don't go for 1 and put yourself down 4. That makes no sense. Because you still need a touchdown to win. You go for 2 to put yourself possibility down by 3. Worst case, you're still a touchdown down.
Yeah, worst case.
But to kick the extra point was a bad call. With only 4 or 5 minutes left, whatever it was, whatever the time frame was, whatever it was, I don't know, but it was a bad call. I think, and then the 4th down.
Left in the third. It was 2 minutes left in the third when they scored.
Yeah, and it's like, when you're there, when you're within 3, you got to put yourself within 3. You got to take the points because obviously nobody scored in the 4th, right?
Yeah, no one scored in the 4th.
Yeah. At some point, these 2 defenses were going to step up.
Denver's saying the same thing.
Huh?
I said Denver saying the same thing. Gotta take the points.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't we just take the points?
Take the points. I tell you what, Chuck Knox is rolling over in his grave with these analytics. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you right now.
See, with that Broncos game, I would have went for it on 4th, but I think the play call was just so terrible. It's like, you call timeout. You're thinking short yardage as a player. Especially you line up in 22 personnel. 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, and 1 receiver, and it's going to be a run pass. I mean, it's going to be a run, or it's going to be play action. You're not fooling anybody what you're doing there. It's like if you really were to go for it, you might as well just spread it out, give yourself some options. The guys are on their toes now because they don't know what to expect, and then you call it right. You can get 3 yards for it. But I think that play call was just, you run play action to try to get him rolling out. Of course, defensive coordinator sends the blitz that way. Let's stop the play action. Sure. And you don't get nothing. And, it was just a terrible play call.
Yeah, I think there was some great play calling. You know what else? And I don't know. We'll talk. We can talk a little bit about this. I think. And is what do you guys think watching this year about officiating overall? I'm going to say this. Is that in all my years of playing and watching football, and I have never seen so many missed calls. So I remember watching one game, and there were 3 blatant procedure calls where like a second before the ball was snapped, the guard's taken off, and then blatant offsides in the same doggone game. But then some of the stuff like. Even Cooper Kupp's catch, he was short. I mean, he was short. It was a catch. Some people, it wasn't a catch. Surviving the ground only matters when it's tap and you're down, right? Because there's no football move, right? Yeah. It's tap. Now, do you survive the ground or do you bobble the ball? That's surviving the ground. But when you make a football move and you get tackled and your shoulder hits the ground, play over. If you bobble it, you don't worry about surviving the ground anymore. So people don't know the rules, but if you look, he was a half a yard short. What do you guys think overall of the officiating? Do you see the same things I'm seeing? Is that I would say of any year, there's been so many missed or bobbled calls, or even on review, that to me look apparent aren't happening. So Pete, you watch a lot of football. I know you do.
Yeah. I feel like there was, especially in the playoffs, there was definitely some stuff, man. I guess for me, it's just a lot of inconsistencies even throughout the whole season, from the officiating, just not consistent. Even if you're going to call the game one way, then call it the entire game that way. I think those are my takes from what I observed, painfully and happily, or whatever you want to call it, depending on what side of the ball I was on. But I do think there was definitely a lot of missed things this year for sure.
My point is this: there's always missed. I mean, come on. If you've ever worn a whistle and tried to, believe me, I tried refereeing a basketball game once. I used to complain all the time because I always got hacked, but I was so big that all I had to do is breathe on somebody and I get a foul call. Well, until I carried a whistle and tried to referee a basketball game, I'm like, okay, I get it. It ain't easy.
Yeah.
No.
But there's always going to be missed calls. But to the point where it's changing games and outcome of games, and every single game is refutable calls. Walter, I know you've played more than I did. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, they're human, right? I mean, boy. Well, yeah, but it goes to this point though, right? Because again, the majority of these umpires, referees, they work during the week. Some electricians, they're drivers, there's this or that. They working during the week and they're coming in on a Sunday to go to officiate these games. Again, I just talk to refs and just get their background, right before a game. Because sometimes you talk to them and get to know about what they're doing in their daily life. You get some calls your way. It just isn't that way because they're people. But again, to that point though, it's like a lot of calls are judgment calls. I mean, obviously you have stuff that's there by the book. Is it bad? Yeah, I think some of it has been bad. I mean, different spots. I mean, there's a couple spots that I seen. I was like, hey, he's for sure got it. I don't know how they're gauging it. And sometimes you have bad angles, right? Because they're watching on TV, so our angles are always right where the ball's at, but they're coming from obscure positions of the field and trying to do their best of kind of position the ball where tackler has been down and things and so forth in that nature. But and then when you get to the judgment calls, I mean, obviously it's an offensive league, so anything that's going on the defensive side, gets kind of questionable. I know everyone looks at the call a couple weeks ago with with the Bills, the Denver game.
Yes.
Right, with the catch interception play. I mean, they're both jousting for the ball. I mean, that's a play that can go either way, and we've seen it go either way. Right. I think that was a legitimate call. I mean, I don't defense guy, but I think they were both. I heard someone say, "Oh, tie goes to 100." This ain't baseball. We don't play baseball. I mean, they both because the receiver, the corner defensive player has just as much right to go for the ball as the receiver. That's the rule, right? If a cornerback is looking back at the ball and play, he has just as much right. So when guys see the bang bang plays, like, oh, where's the PI? Well, there's no PI there because that guy's entitled to his space, his land to be able to get that ball. And I think that was a play where they both go up there. He could have had a little bit more position, but they're both jousting for the ball because he doesn't have a completed catch either, though, right? Because you're talking about the completed catch. He still has to come down, either make the football move or he's landing on a knee, elbow, shoulder, or something like that to be able to fill the catch. At that point, it's a bang bang type of play. Yeah. So I mean,
pass interference isn't you going after the ball. Pass interference is you grabbing his arm and keeping him from the ball.
Yeah.
So
which a lot of those got called through the course of season 2, though. I've seen a lot of holds and grabs and pulls because again, like the rules gets iffy sometimes because again, you're not supposed to make any contact after 5 yards. But then you still have the hand fighting and pulling that goes on and doesn't get called because there are umpires that are looking at those guys that are watching them through the course. They're just like, oh, I'm not gonna call it because the ball's not going in that direction or he's not really impeding his his route ability, right? So I don't know. I guess they say you can call a flag. You can throw a flag on every single play. There's holding on every single play.
Every single play.
Every single play. So at some point, you just gotta let the guys play.
Yeah, I know. As an offensive lineman, there's holding every single play. But is it blatant? And does it affect the play? Are you impeding somebody's progress from making a play? That's all debatable. All right, here's one last thing, because people will say it. NFL scripted. And there's and the referees have a play in it. Okay, I know that's ludicrous, but I've never started an NFL game. I started NFL preseason games, which nobody cares about. Is that? I mean, it sounds stupid even saying it, but there's people saying it.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess you go back to if you look at basketball, you look at Donahue. Right, who went down for fixing basketball games. He was calling basketball games to the point. So and again, obviously basketball is different. It's a lot of stop and go. You get guys on the foul throw line, stop the clock, get points, and you can keep the game close in that situation. I think if that is the case, because obviously we've seen it in other sports to where referees can fix games, but I think in the NFL aspect, I think it's a little bit tougher because you have 11 guys on the field. There's way more variables to try to control, but I do think you can put things, put games in certain situations. And I think the biggest one for me was the Baltimore Ravens game against the Chiefs a couple years ago. And Baltimore was rushing for 200 yards in the postseason game. And in this game, all of a sudden, they just want to deviate from running the ball and let Lamar Jackson pass the ball. on like like we're just gonna let him pass. We're not gonna run the ball at all. That's a obscure aspect of the game, right? Because again, here's a team that does something very successful. They're averaging 200 yards a game rushing in the playoffs,
Right,
and the Chiefs don't have a good rush defense like that. So they're averaging almost 8 yards a carry when they did run the ball against them in that game, and you decide to pass. That played into an aspect of, again, Chiefs did have great secondary. Baltimore's receivers were all right. And then everyone always criticizes Lamar Jackson and his passing ability. So I think again, obviously the game still has to be played. This game still has to be won. But I think that's a small tidbit of a situation to where, again, here's a team that they're known for running the ball 40 times a game, and they don't run the ball 40 times a game. They run the ball 15 times a game.
Here I thought Walt was going to completely obliterate that concept. However, he decides he's gonna just dump gasoline all over the fire.
Hey, but this is of late though, right? This is of late though. I don't know. I mean, again, that was one that always stuck out to me. That was just like, if I'm a coach and I know that we're averaging 200, 250 yards a game rushing, and we're going against a team that has poor rush defense, why are we not running the ball? Like, that just never made any sense to me when you're in the AFC Championship game. It just never made any sense to me.
Well, I'll tell you, so with so much money pouring in to the NFL's coffers from all of the betting sites and all the gambling money, you can't help but start to think, when some of all this malfeasance is going on with referees, to your point, a coach completely changing a game plan that has been successful to the point at the detriment of the team. How much money is being, is there to make those decisions? Here's the thing I will never believe is that a player of influence would ever throw a game or like, so CJ Stroud
unless
being
you're
investigated.
a gambler.
But unless he's a gambler.
Yeah.
But CJ Stroud, a Christian guy, hopefully, who knows? But I mean, come on, 5 turnovers a game in your last 2 games. I mean, it was like really bad, but being to the point where people are calling for an investigation. However, isn't he making like $50 million a year? So I mean, how much money would need to pour in from a gambling site for a young man of some faith structure to make a decision that, I'm going to throw, back-to-back playoff games or whatever it is. So back in our day, I could see cats throwing a game because some of us had to work in the off season. I mean, so, you throw $100 grand my way, I might just let that cat go sack the quarterback because I'm only making 60. But if I'm making 27 million a year and you're going to give me $100 grand for me to suck, it ain't happening. I don't need your $100 grand, Yeah. I don't know, but I tell you, Walt and Pete, we both watch enough to hear a little bit of the chatter, a little bit of the scripting, a little bit of the CJ Stroud. Unfortunately, that's not chatter. That's like people are just throwing out there going, he should be investigated. Look, the young man just had some bad games. Brady had 5 turnover games. No one wanted to investigate that guy because he got 6 rings. So, let him be. Because I tell you what, it's bothering the heck out of him. What do you think, Pete? What do you think as a fan?
Oh, I mean, I was gonna say Brady had their other investigations that he had to worry about.
Right. That's right.
I mean, there was a clip because he was at the Seahawks game. Sorry, there was a clip because he was at the Seahawks game and a fan gave him a deflated ball to sign. And there was like everybody was going all nuts for it. I'm like, this is perfect, man. I love it. Yeah.
That's funny.
I mean,
all right, guys. Predictions for the Super Bowl.
Oh, predictions?
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying.
Yeah, because I'm actually going to be. I don't know, Walt, if you're going to make it up. I think you're not quite sure, but I'm going to be up in San Francisco all week. We're going to be on Media Row. I'm going to be working with Tony Dungy, delivering baskets to kids in hospitals all day Friday. We have a big event Wednesday on Media Row with Build-A-Bear and Basket of Hope, big media event where we're giving families baskets. And then, of course, we're doing all the different events throughout the week that are so much fun. So next week there will not be a show. So let's start with Pete. Super Bowl prediction, unless you're picking the Patriots, and then you don't have a turn.
Never would ever. Hey, you should know me by now. No, heck no with Patriots. Gross. No Patriots, man. Hawks all the way. Go Hawks. So you guys got feathers, you got wings. I'm rooting for that, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, one angry bird to another. One angry bird to another, brother. Walt, give me a score. Give me a score.
He's checking
You can't look at the lines.
Yeah, I just want to see what the spread was. I was looking to see what the spread
What is the spread? What is it?
I don't know. Let's find out.
It's got to be 7.
No, I heard it. 3.5.
3.5. Oh my gosh, I might start gambling. No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
No, Dave, you're gonna mess it up.
I can't do it. As much as of a layup as that is, it's just like 7.5 games. That was such a layup. I really I almost started gambling, and come to find out, the odds of us getting to the Super Bowl, which I predicted preseason, was 600 to 1. All I had to do was put $100 on it, and I'd be able to pay my rent for 2 months. You know, I mean, but I will never do it, because as soon as I do it, that sure bet becomes lost because I lose.
Yeah.
So anyhow, all right. So 3.5. Give me your score.
24-17. Hawks.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think they have solid.
So,
they have solid defense. I think it'd be a battle.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean Drake. I mean,
so here's the thing.
Drake May is having a year. I mean, he threw for 4,300 yards and 30-some touchdowns, and he leads the league in QBR right now too, which I didn't know that was the case. So I mean, he's efficient. He's doing what he needs to do. Yeah, I think it can be close, and it could also get out of hand. I think the defense can also come in there.
We'll pick one. You can't.
I just said 24. I said 17. 24-17.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So let me drop some facts. We're used to playing there. We're used to that field, and we're used to winning there. And I'll tell you what, the Patriots have a great head coach, but they're not there yet. They pulled this season out of their butt, and I tell you, I just think if I can't say if we are going to play the game we played against the Rams, and I'll tell you what, that team is nowhere near the talent of the Rams, and I'm going to say it's going to be 34-10. I don't think it's going to be close from the beginning. I think we're going to dominate the game, and well, we should. And I'm going to go on a prediction already that we repeat next year. We'll be in the Super Bowl again next year. I think that we have the basis of this, and I think these young guys. I believed it from the beginning for this year, and you know, I wear the old man jersey, so I get to say crazy stuff, but I really do. I really just see us kind of building something. And it's fun to be a part of. Hey, I'll tell you what, guys, thanks for all your support all season. It was a lot of fun doing the watch parties. I mean, I will tell you guys, I don't care where you're at. You got to come to Bruno's to watch a game. It is like being in Seattle times 10. It is nuts. We have crazy fans down here in Orange County. They show up and they have a great time. And especially when we win, it's a madhouse. So anyhow, guys, I guess until we get back from the Super Bowl, right? Yeah. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Hawks.
Go Hawks.
You can go. Thanks, guys. Go Birds. You can say go Birds.